Another deadly crash on our roads. Another police allegation that impaired driving was involved.
A deadly combination of jaywalking and alleged impaired driving being blamed for a crash in Brampton that has left a 22-year-old man dead.
A man in his 20s is dead, and a woman is charged with impaired driving after a crash in Etobicoke.
A 43-year-old woman is dead, and her 3-year-old daughter is fighting for her life in a hospital tonight after a 3-vehicle collision that involved a suspected impaired driver.
I'm Adrian Gobriel. Those are just a small sample of the fatal drunk driving incidents we report on a near weekly basis. Tonight, as many make their way home, the message on our roads doesn't appear to be sinking in. There's more than 6,000 drunk driving charges that have already been laid in Ontario this year. It's the #1 criminal cause of death in the country. Today marked the 31st anniversary of Mad Canada's Red Ribbon campaign. It's one of several anti-drunk driving crusades that are important, though the question has to be asked, are they working?
Last time I talked to her was at a gas station, never expecting something like this to happen, and then by the end of the night, you have to leave her on the side of the road and see her covered with a sheet due to something that's 100% preventable.
Jordan McCool-Moran's mother and grandmother were killed by a drunk driver during a road trip in Saskatoon in 2008. He was driving right behind his mother and grandmother's car and watched helplessly as an impaired driver crashed head-on with his family's vehicle.
Just a cloud of glass and metal.
When you heard that someone only got 2 years in jail after being convicted of drunk driving causing death, the death of your mother, your grandmother, what went through your mind?
It's kind of shock and surprise. In this case, she was a repeat offender, so it's, to me, not justified.
The federal government is trying to take a harder line when it comes to drunk drivers. In December, Bill C-46 Part 2 will be rolled out. Police will no longer need to suspect drunk driving in order to request a roadside breathalyzer test. And there will be an increase in certain minimum fines as well as maximum penalties. Though anyone convicted of drunk driving causing death in Canada already faces a maximum of life in prison. The vast majority of those found guilty are slapped with much shorter sentences. Does it go far enough? Is it going to help? Because it appears the message isn't getting through to thousands of drivers in this province.
Well, I'll be clear on one thing, that Ontario has, I believe, the strictest laws to roadway safety in the world. So as we continue to grow and develop and learn new things, anything that can act as a deterrent, I think is a good thing.
I know that we keep putting the message out and it's the same thing.
You feel the new bill will help?
I think it will. I am convinced that the new bill, once people realize that there is a much greater risk of being caught, then there are people that will listen to that and realize that it's just not acceptable.
Tomorrow, convicted drunk driver Marco Muzo, who received 10 years behind bars for the death of 3 young siblings and their grandfather, will plead his case to receive day parole, a little more than 2 years into his sentence. CityNews will be at the hearing for what will be a very emotional decision.